Hi there, TCLN Network. I got some quick news for you. So, the State Department has laid off over 1,300. So, the Trump administration has laid off or let go or did a buyout with over 1,300 people, right? So, according to AP News, that'll be 1,350 and pretty much what they call 15%, right? And there's been budget cuts up to 18%. Now I'm bringing you this because you know about it. It's been federal layoffs, right? State layoffs and all that kind of stuff, right? And what I really want to say concerning this is I really want to talk to you, right? So as employees, we've all worked. We maybe haven't worked as federal employees. We maybe have not worked as state employees, but we've all at one point in time in our life been an employee, correct? And I think there's lessons in all of this because when I look at it, you're looking at some of the things that when you cut in these areas and you cut in this funding or budgets, you're looking at many civils, not civil, I'm sorry, or critical human rights. You're also looking at reproductive rights, and you're looking at the LGBT two plus departments, right? And roles and stuff like that. My question to America, because I want you to listen to me closely, right? So my question to America is this: with the great divide that was going on when you come to abortions, when you come to the LGBT community, when you come to religion, when you come to anything you want to talk about, DEI, critical issues, everything. When you looking at this and all this stuff that was tied to federal programming, federal jobs, and all that kind of stuff, how do you personally weigh it out? That's the question I want to ask you, right? So, at TCLN, I love to educate to elevate, and I like to take us from situations to solutions, but I also like for us to think, because a lot of times we look at this stuff, we hear it, and we're like, whatever. But it's really a point for us to take and think about because really, when you look at jobs, and you got all the fighting in politics and the battling and the polarization, then you would have to look at, well, what jobs were worthy of cutting and what jobs were not worthy of cutting. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it really runs that deep, girl. Like, it's all attached to all and it's all interconnected to all. So if you the type of person, you pro rights and you're not into, that, or pro life, you're not into that, abortions and all that kind of stuff, you would probably think it's good that funding is cut in that area. It's good. You wouldn't necessarily be thinking, oh, good, you laid off or nothing like that. You don't want nobody to hurt and jobs to be lost and money to be lost. But at the end of the day, some things we believe in is tied to federal programming, and some things we don't believe in is tied to federal programming. And so I just wanted to propose that today, right? It's news, of course. You know about the layoffs that's been going on. But when you really look at it, you have to look at it in totality because it's always tied to something. So let's just say that officers have jobs, right? So we all know that there are good officers and bad officers, right? So when a bad officer is laid off and let go, everybody seems to rejoice, right? And when a good officer takes place and they're really doing something wonderful, or at least that's what they appear to be doing, then everybody appears to be celebrating, right? And I think that sometimes we don't think about even other aspects of life or other aspects of jobs or other things. I think we just automatically go with, oh my God, how could you do this? And how could you do that? And how could you do that? But we're not thinking about what's tied to what and why. And I'll give you an example. So there was a time when, and it still is so much, but not as much. But there was a time when there was a lot of black women that was in shelters, and their babies were in shelters, and men were living in cars, and they were working jobs, and they were struggling. You know how the dealio go, right? And they had these programs set up. You understand what I'm saying? Where they were telling people that the only way that you can get housing is that you go through the program. So to program to the public may mean that you go through a process, you do this, you do that. But to those that were going through it and in the inner know, that's not what the program meant. The program meant is that you had to go act like you had a mental problem and put yourself on medications. You understand what I'm saying? And at some points, put your kids on medication. So it was a demoralization. And even though it was up under programming, you understand what I'm saying? And even though it was tied to states and jobs and medical fields and local things, like, would you really be wanting that to happen to you? Like, these are things that we don't question and we really don't think about. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what I do at TCLN. I'd be like, let's break this stuff down. Let's think about it. Like, would you really want that to be happening to you? Let's just say you was a woman. Let's just say you was a federal employee that just got laid off. And let's just say you was going through homelessness, this and this and that, and you got in the what they call the system and all that kind of stuff. And then you start kind of like going through, right? You start going through, right? And you get in the system and you get in the shelters, you're running around to the places to get food, trying to make sure your car got gas. Now your car done got repoed. You know what I'm saying? It's a trickle down effect now. Now you're going through this, now you're going through that. Your savings done run out. You only had so much savings. And now you facing with them telling you that you depressed, you down, you out, you need to get on meds, and that's what those people were going through at that time. It still happens today, but not as much. It's more like a lot of homeless people have been demoralized, so they're in the system just regardless. It's like going to jail, right? And you get on probation, and like they say, you just become a product of the system. You know what I'm saying? So it's more like that, right? But that's what was actually happening, guys. And when that's tied to funding, and when that's tied to programs, you would really have to sit down and think, as an American, as people, what would I support in funding? What would I support in programming? This wind be acting a fool, y'all. It's like woolly, woolly, woolly. But you really would have to ask that, right? Because everything we think is okay is not always okay. And even though it's just like having a storm, right? You got good people, you got bad people, right? And a storm hit, as you know, they're going to always be good people and bad people pass away alike. Probably more good than it is bad, right? So as you know, with programmings, when we look at these things, we need to look at it with a more objective eye and a more truthful eye, and be truthful to our nature and really ask questions like, was certain programs really needed that were cut? You understand what I'm saying? There may be some that were really needed that were cut that shouldn't have been cut, but I promise you're going to find some that wasn't so much needed and needed to be cut. Not necessarily that the person's income or employment need to be cut, but some of that stuff need to be cut because it was not contributed to humanity in a positive way. And I just wanted to leave that with you guys, and I hope you be blessed and enjoy the rest of your day. Also, check out, I've been talking about the DOJ all week, right? And so I've made 3 videos on the DOJ. It's over there on YouTube. I talk about Laws County and their sewage problem with the DOJ. I talk about the firing of Maureen Coley, and I also talk about UT Austin and the Moody Center. So all of those have separate themes to them, but they tie to the Department of Justice and how their hand plays a role in the different activities, whether it's the antitrust laws, civil rights laws, and all that kind of stuff, and just giving you real time. Sorry, y'all, this stuff just blowing everywhere, but just giving you real time on how this stuff really works. You know what I'm saying? So just in case you don't have time to always look at this and look at that and be bothered by textbook and breakdown, sometimes you can just look at videos and learn a lot. So you guys have a blessed day, a wonderful week, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you've been watching some of my content and you've been enjoying it, I would hope that you would like to support financially. Whatever you have and whatever you can do would be a blessing. And so you can do PayPal, Cash App, anything that you see up there in the description. You guys have a wonderful day, okay? Bye-bye.